Whatever the reason, the concept of gratitude and a gratitude practice can just feel like it doesn't fit for you, and that's okay. But I still want you to be able to experience the benefits of a gratitude practice, maybe with a different approach. So today I'm going to share some subtle reframes of gratitude that can help you get the same benefits of gratitude, but with a slightly different way of approaching it. Welcome to the Love Your Brain podcast, the podcast designed for everyday people who are ready to hop off the negative thought hamster wheel and enjoy a less hostile environment in their own brains. Our brains are where we live our entire lives, and I'm on a mission to help people see that they have everything they need to make it a happier place to be. So join us for this episode of the Love Your Brain podcast. Let's get started. Welcome back to the Love Your Brain podcast, or welcome if you're new. Hopefully, if you've been following along these past few weeks, you got to hear the episode where we did a meditation together. If that is not one that you've checked out yet, I definitely recommend it. Even if you're not like a meditation person, I definitely would say go give it a whirl and let me know what you think. I'm super curious if that kind of content is something that you're interested in hearing more of, or if it's not your jam, that's okay too. It was fun to be able to provide that to you all and provide a different kind of experience. So hopefully we'll have more opportunities to do that in the future. For today's episode, we are going to be talking about when gratitude is hard. We hear about it all the time, how really important it is to be grateful for the things that we have, for the life that we have. It's been proven scientifically that gratitude is something that's really important for our brains because it really does rewire how our brains operate. It allows us to see the good in the world a little bit easier. And what that does is it actually allows our neural pathways to change so that we can start to see the world playing out in a way where it feels like it is for us, that these things are happening in a way where it's good and we can see the good in it. And that is a wonderful, wonderful practice to have. Even just the act of thinking about things that we're grateful for releases things like dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, things that just promote feelings of happiness and excitement and connection with others. All these things that just feel good in our brains. So not only is gratitude helping us to build new neural pathways of positivity in our brain, but it's also allowing us to actually feel in our bodies and in our brains these different chemicals that are being released that allow us to just feel good. It reduces stress levels, it takes away the negativity of what we're focusing on and makes it a more positive experience. It helps us to regulate our emotions. It actually helps our own immune system. And long term practices of gratitude can actually change your structure of your brain over time because it actually changes the size and density of certain portions of your brain that are involved in regulating your emotions and your memory and your overall experience in life. Overall, gratitude is such a powerful tool. However, sometimes the practice of gratitude is really hard. It can be hard to feel gratitude for something that initially felt very painful, or when things just seem super difficult or hard or sad or any kind of negative emotion. It's hard to feel the gratitude when you're having all of these negative emotions. And so often when I talk to people about gratitude, I hear back from them, but I feel X, Y, and Z, or that's not the headspace I'm in right now. Or for some people, even the word or the concept of gratitude can be extremely triggering. Some individuals have grown up with gratitude being forced down their throats in order to accept unpleasant things in their life without questioning it. Maybe it's been used as a tool for manipulation or gaslighting in your life. Whatever the reason, the concept of gratitude and a gratitude practice can just feel like it doesn't fit for you, and that's okay. But I still want you to be able to experience the benefits of a gratitude practice, maybe with a different approach. So today I'm going to share some subtle reframes of gratitude that can help you get the same benefits of gratitude, but with a slightly different way of approaching it. Now, I don't want to mislead you. These concepts will still likely feel challenging and hard. Anytime you practice a new way of thinking can feel strange or even feel impossible because we're breaking out of a long held way of thinking and trying to think differently. And doing that work will almost always feel hard at first. But I think it's very worth it for your own peace and really to be able to get out of your own head and be able to level up your worldview. In a way, it's a radical way of taking responsibility for your own thoughts and emotions, and I say radical because to me, going through reframing practices like these can feel like you went from being a passenger in like this powerful semi truck on the highway where you're just along for the ride. Someone else has complete control over the wheel, and you're just along for this crazy ride, the ride of emotions that are controlled by every small interaction, every small experience. Every whip of the steering wheel feels like it's throwing you around in your seat, and all you can do is just brace yourself. So, this radical approach takes you from that place of being in the passenger seat to being in the driver's seat of that massive semi where you dictate what direction you go. You will still hit the same big bumps and you'll still drive through crazy storms, but now you get to decide where you end up in the end. You decide how you react with each of those bumps and how you steer. It makes a huge difference on how you experience that crazy ride, whether you're in the driver's seat or the passenger seat. So please know it's not easy to change how you see the world around you, but it is a radical act of ownership that can really put you in the driver's seat of deciding how you will maneuver the hard things in life. And that is incredibly empowering. So let's get started on getting you in the driver's seat. And I want to start by introducing you to what I like to call two peas in a pod. And those two P's we're going to talk about today are purpose and perfection. So, again, those two P's in the pod are purpose and perfection. So, let's talk about purpose first. Whenever we encounter anything in life, good or bad, there is purpose in it. I know that can be a very controversial topic, that even in incredibly painful situations, that there can be purpose. But I've seen it play out way too many times to ignore it. Every encounter in our lives has a purpose, something we need to gain from it in order to move on to the next step, all the good and all the bad. And sometimes that can even look like going through a really challenging time so that we can actually be there for another person in a powerful way. Sometimes we have to learn to maneuver something so we can walk beside someone else as they maneuver something similar down the road. This for me has always been my go to approach when I encounter something really painful or hard. Before I can get to actually being grateful for it, is just imagining what kind of purpose it might play. You heard that right. I said might. Like it hasn't even happened yet. But allowing my brain the opportunity to play around with the thought that there could be purpose in what I'm experiencing. Finding the purpose in the pain can be incredibly empowering. It's like you go through something awful and then you sit down and you write out a pretend resume of all the skills and knowledge and wisdom that you just gained from that experience. It gives you the power back. And imagine how those things will be used in the future, because I assure you it will be used. And if you aren't in the work that I'm in this helping profession, it can be hard to see because you don't always get to see the truth of what everyone else is experiencing behind closed doors. But when you're in this line of work that I'm in, where you get to sit with people navigating hard things every day, you see it time and time again, how the difficult challenges we experience end up being used down the road for yourself or even for others. It's wild to see, but it happens every time. And of course, there are times where maybe you navigate something really, really hard, and then you see those things that you gained from that situation be used down the road, but you question, like, well, was it still worth it? I mean, that small thing, was that worth everything that I went through? But here's the thing, we can't ever, in our limited abilities, actually see the whole picture, the full scope of how things play out down the road, maybe even generations down the road. We can't see it all, but I can assure you it had its purpose in the bigger picture. When I was in middle school, I navigated some incredibly challenging times with my mental health, and I always thought to myself that maybe someday I would be able to help someone else in that situation, and I will feel like it's all worth it. that was probably the baby social worker in me that was already in progress. But lo and behold, I did have a chance in high school to mentor another girl in middle school, and she was navigating very similar waters that I had, and I was so excited to help her. I was constantly waiting for this massive, amazing experience where I felt like, oh, that is why I went through everything I did. But in the end, I felt like we really only had one meaningful conversation about it. And in some ways, I was kind of disappointed. Like I was imagining how it plays out in the movies, where it's almost like it replays all these events. And in the end, you find out that without all these things, this massive thing wouldn't have happened. But I didn't have that moment, that huge moment. It was just one small conversation. But being in this business for over 20 years has taught me that we don't often get those big replays in real life, but we can have the knowledge that that impact is bigger than you can see. It did impact the bigger picture in a way where we may never see the outcome, but you played a part in another person's direction in their life that could have impacted the next person and the next person and the next person, which may in fact have changed the course of history. But you may not see that, and that's okay. The important part is acknowledging that your part played a part in the bigger picture. You played the part that you were meant to, no matter how small it looks today. And maybe for you, some time has passed and you can actually see the purpose now, even better. Those are great nuggets to make note of. Those things that have happened and continue to happen to help you see the purpose of those challenges you've been through are incredible. Or maybe you're someone that navigated something challenging as a younger person that armed you with a skill or ability that without it, when you were older, could have led you down a path that would have been really detrimental for you. The purpose can look so many different ways, not only for you as an individual, but you as a part of the bigger world. So, whether you can see it now or you're just imagining what it will look like, taking time to reflect on the purpose of it all, that is another way we can work towards achieving the same benefits of practicing gratitude, but with a slightly different approach. So, that is our first P in the two P's in the pod, the P of purpose. The next P I want to talk about is the P of perfection. Now, a lot of people see perfection as something being only good without flaw, which is part of it. But another less talked about part of perfection is the wholeness of perfection. That in order for something to be perfect, it has to be whole and balanced. Think about the story of Goldilocks and the Three Bears, for example. That perfect porridge that Goldilocks fell in love with had to have the exact amount of cold and hot to make it just right. I think that's a great example of how everything has to have both the good and the bad, the positive and the negative, in order to achieve that balanced perfection. And that is much like how life plays out as well. Everything that happens is a part of the greater equation. It all plays a part in the perfect plan that has both good and bad. Now, will this plan always look perfect in how you perceive it? No. But perfect in the bigger picture, yes. There is good and bad in every little detail. Every minute interaction, there will be good and bad. And the sooner that we can start to see both in everything, the more balanced we will also feel in our brains and in our bodies. Seeing the good and the bad and everything removes the weight of it all, where we feel like we're being tossed about by every life experience. Instead, if we can see the perfection in it, that we have both the good and the bad in every situation, we can simply see it as perfectly good and bad, and it doesn't have the same power to toss us around any longer. It's like that analogy I shared earlier about taking the wheel of the semi truck. You become the driver, and you can keep steering straight when you acknowledge that there are forces pushing you both one way and the other way. You can have the ability to recognize both, but still stay focused on moving forward straight ahead. So, that is our second P of our two P's in the pod, the P of perfection, the perfect balance of life, and being able to recognize that there's both good and bad in all of the experiences that we have. So let's review. When we're struggling to feel grateful and to find things to be grateful for in our lives, instead we can look for the two P's in the pod in everything we experience. We can look for the P of purpose and see how the experiences play out in this bigger picture of not only our long term story, but in the bigger story of this world. And the second P is the P of perfection. And this allows us to identify both the good and bad of everything we encounter. So if you are someone who tends to struggle with gratitude, I hope these two P's in a pod give you some additional ways to get to the same end, so you can feel better and more in control of your own thoughts and perceptions of your life and the world around you. Because once we start to think differently about the experiences we have, we can actually start to feel differently, and that's when we start to live differently. All right, have a great week, guys. I hope you found something helpful here today on the Love Your Brain podcast. Maybe a laugh or a feeling of validation, or maybe just a few moments to have company while you do your laundry. Whatever you take from it, I hope you enjoyed your time and leave feeling empowered to be more you every day. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss out on the next episode, and leave a review. I'd love to hear what you think. Have a great one.